Coming up in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the neuroscience behind manifestation, how we can accelerate this process, how we can make sure that we are doing this in a really grounded, trusted way. I cannot wait to demystify some of this and bring some science behind some of this. If you're ready to go beyond the short-term dopamine of aha moments and into real actionable approaches that will help you live a life that you truly love, you've come to the right place. This show is for intellectualizers and people committed to their healing and growth that want to get to that next level, optimize their lives, bring their holistic health into balance, regulate their nervous systems, and more. We're going to be talking about why what you've tried in the past to heal and grow hasn't gotten you to where you want to be. And since I've been a licensed therapist, I've worked in the holistic health space for over a decade, I have a degree in cognitive neuroscience, I'll be talking about my unique insider's perspective on the shortcomings of therapy, phenomena in the healing and growth space that I don't see anyone else talking about, and offer a relatable, authentic commentary about how we can be the best humans that we can be holistically. Welcome to After the Aha. We're going to take it beyond the aha dopamine highs so that you can tangibly start feeling your best. This is going to be a fun one today because I love nerding out on this topic. We're going to be talking about the neuroscience behind manifestation. I love this topic because, well, I'm a brain nerd. If you're new here, I'm a therapist with a degree in cognitive neuroscience, and I love combining the spirit and the science together. And so being able to talk about manifestation and what's happening in our perceptions and our brains and our nervous systems when we are quote unquote manifesting, and how we can accelerate this process, how we can make sure that we are doing this in a really grounded, trusted way, just lights me up. And so I cannot wait to demystify some of this and bring some science behind some of this and help you at the end. I'll be sharing a manifestation technique that I use, that I love, that will not only help you get the results faster, it's also going to make sure that you're pointed in the right direction. Because that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today too, is that we're really bad as humans at knowing what's going to actually bring us happiness. So I cannot wait to dive in. Ooh, buckle up. There are so many things that I want to talk about in the realm of this topic. So we'll see how far we can get in this episode, but I just wanted to put it out there. It might have to be broken up into more than one episode. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you want me to keep diving into, because there's a lot to talk about here. To set the stage though, from a neuroscience perspective, a lot of what manifestation techniques are doing are helping train and prime your brain, your perception, your nervous system, your body to not only go out and get the things and the opportunities that are in line with the vision and the dream that you have for yourself in your life. It's also helping prime all of those things to be safe in receiving the dream and the vision when those opportunities arise for you. So I'll be talking about training our reticular activation system and training our brain's heuristics to work for us, like our confirmation bias. But I also have to at least put here that a big foundational piece of all of this is to build safety within our nervous system and our bodies and our perceptions to truly receive the vision and the dream that we are trying to bring into our lives and we're trying to manifest. Because so often what I see, if you aren't consciously developing that safety in your brain and your nervous system and your body, then you will continue to sabotage opportunities, or you'll continue to procrastinate, or you'll continue to come up with reasons and beliefs behind why you can't do that or why that thing isn't coming in. So a big way that I like to talk about this is through what I call the new level, new devil conundrum, because every next stage of our life comes with foreseen and unforeseen challenges. And if you don't feel safe with that next level's challenges, then you won't walk the path to get you there. You're going to continue to protect yourself, even subconsciously, against those upcoming challenges that come with that next level. So for example, say you want to become a millionaire. That's your next level, to have $1 million. If you don't feel safe with the challenges or the new devils that come with that next level, then you will continue to sabotage any opportunities that come your way, or you'll continue to procrastinate or not walk the path to get you to $1 million. Because say, for example, one of the challenges at that level is that you need to start a business and you need to be seen by other people in offering your services to the world. Maybe that's what's going to get you to $1 million. If you don't feel safe doing that, being seen, putting yourself out there, If you don't feel that in your nervous system that that is okay for you to do, you will continue to avoid walking that path toward $1 million as a form of protection. So what's going to be more effective than writing on a sheet of paper 100 times a day saying, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire, would be to get down to the autonomic nervous system and rewire some of the programming that's in there that's stopping you from feeling safe running a business or being seen, or even around your relationship with money. This is a whole fascinating topic in itself, so I might actually have an entire episode on regulating your nervous system around money so you can receive more and manifest more. So if you want to hear more about that, go ahead and leave it in the comments below because there's a lot that I can say about that. But bringing it back to the new level, new devil conundrum and regulating your nervous system around the new challenges that are going to face you at that new level, an activity that you can do is write out what that new level is for you. Is it $1 million? Is it starting your business? Is it starting a family? Is it having that dream relationship? Whatever it might be, list out some of your biggest fears around getting there. A lot of the times we don't think about that. We think, oh, well, having $1 million would be amazing. Having my dream relationship would be amazing. Having that family I dream of would be amazing. I'm not consciously thinking of any of the challenges and problems that would come up, but your autonomic nervous system might be. So really list out any fears, any challenges that might be there, including if I had $1 million, I might be safe enough to let my guard down. Sometimes that happens after years and years and years of being traumatized, of being in challenge. Maybe it's really scary to have everything be okay. Maybe being in a safe relationship means that's scary because then I'm going to let my guard down. And when the next shoe drops, I'm not going to be prepared, right? So, really allowing yourself to flush out what are some of the challenges that I might be avoiding and protecting myself against that's going to be sabotaging and blocking me, and that I need to consciously learn how to regulate my nervous system around so that I can grow my container and my ability to receive the opportunities as they come in, as I'm starting to manifest them. Because if we're not doing that, we're just going to keep getting in our own way. It can actually hurt our relationship with ourselves if we continue to say that we're going to do something, or if we're continuing to vision something for ourselves and then we don't actually ever bring it into reality. So that's a really good place to start. Make that list of what those challenges are and know that that is the list of things that you need to build safety in your nervous system around. I know a lot of that is easier said than done, which is why I have a proven routine and model that helps you get down to the autonomic nervous system and rewire a lot of the programming that is there, even at the subconscious level, that is stopping you from getting to that next level. I help you regulate your nervous system and bring your holistic health into balance, and you get support with me and my team. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and look at the links in the show notes below. Okay, now that we've established the necessity of developing safety in our nervous systems around going after that vision and that dream, and also receiving that vision and that dream that we're bringing in and manifesting, we can talk a little bit more about the reticular activation system and heuristics like our confirmation bias. The manifestation technique that is backed by neuroscience that I'll be sharing at the end of this episode is essentially training your reticular activation system to bring in more of what you want. But to understand the nuts and bolts of how this is working from a neuroscience perspective, we can see our reticular activation system like our brain's algorithm. There is so much stimulus happening at any given time that you cannot pay attention to all of it. Imagine if you had to tune in to every single one of your heartbeats, every single sound that was happening, every single change in atmospheric pressure. There's so much to keep track of that our perception just can't handle it all. We would be too overwhelmed. And I know for me, I'm a highly sensitive person. And for a lot of folks out there who also have very highly sensitive nervous systems, we are actually taking in a lot more stimulus than a lot of people. So to even think about having more is overwhelming. That's where our reticular activation system comes in. This is a filter and a filtration system for our nervous system and for our perception to focus on the things that are the most important to us, just like the algorithm. Because say that you like this post, say that you're spending a lot of time watching this, say that you're commenting on this, it's telling the algorithm that, hey, I want to see more of that. That's essentially what our reticular activation system is doing. The more that we focus on a thought, the more that we focus on a sensation, the more that we focus on the belief that we have about this particular thing. Our brain, remember, it speaks in repetitions. The more tallies that it gets, the more repetitions that it gets, the reticular activation system is going to say, oh, that's important. We want to keep that around. Let's pay attention to that because it's a stimulus that we want to filter in the same way that every single time you like a cat video or a dog video on your Instagram or on your YouTube, the algorithm's going to show you more of that. The same is true for your brain because it can only pay attention to so much. Have you ever noticed if you're shopping for a new pair of shoes or a vehicle, for example, you start to notice that exact pair of shoes or that exact vehicle out in the wild? That is your reticular activation system at work because the more that you're looking on Facebook Marketplace, the more that you're doing research on those shoes, the more that your reticular activation system is saying, ooh, that's important. I'm going to be scanning the environment to find those opportunities and bring them into me, aka manifestation. Now, the reticular activation system can be functioning on autopilot, or you can take the reins and start to train it to intentionally bring in more of what you're wanting. And that's what the technique that I'm going to be talking about at the end of the episode is going to help you do. But before we get to that, let's talk about your brain's heuristics, and in specific, the heuristic called your confirmation bias. As we've talked about in a previous episode, your brain takes up a lot of energy, so it needs to find shortcuts. It does that through neural pathways, but it also does that through something called heuristics, which are essentially shortcuts for your brain to not have to go through all of this complex decision making and relying on something that it already believes. One of these heuristics is called the confirmation bias. This is essentially when your brain seeks out new evidence to confirm what it already believes. This is a huge element of what can either help or get in the way of your manifestation. Because if you believe nothing ever works out for me, you are going to continue to find evidence that supports that belief and therefore continue to compound that belief. And this is the case even when it's not objectively true, which is part of what I find fascinating and why it's so important that we intentionally train our perceptions. Because say that you have the underlying belief that people don't like me. If you had 100 people in the room and say 98 of them actually had great things to say about you, you had great interactions, but say two of the people in there kind of rubbed them the wrong way, they maybe had some critical feedback for you, maybe they left a mean comment on your social media, whatever it might have been, your brain with confirmation bias would find the two people in that room of 100 people and say, see, people don't like me, even though 98 of them actually really loved you. See how this can really change our actual reality and how we imagine ourselves and what we're bringing in. Because completely flip the situation, if I had the belief that people love me and I'm liked and I have opportunities that are coming my way, take that same room of 100 people. And even if only two of those people in that room full of 100 liked me and had an opportunity, that would be evidence to me that would be confirming what I already believe. Because if we're continuously focusing on how people don't like me and how things don't work out or whatever limiting beliefs is keeping us stuck, we're going to continue to find evidence to support that. And in a room full of 100 people where 98 of them loved you and might have opportunities for you, you are focusing on the two people who don't to confirm that belief that you already have. And vice versa. Even in a room full of 100 where 98 of them don't really like you and don't actually have opportunities for you, two of those people might get you into rooms where there are opportunities beyond your current imagination. And both of these scenarios are reality shifting. Okay, the last thing that I'll share before talking about the activity that I've been teasing this whole episode is to circle back around how we're not very good at predicting what's gonna make us happy. I learned this in a class that I took at Yale, and it was on happiness. The whole class was about happiness and talking about stats of happiness and human behavior around happiness. And again, that's a whole episode in itself that I'd love to dive into. But one of the nuggets that I took away is that statistically, we are very bad at being able to predict what's actually going to make us happy. And the professor in that class, she talked about how we'll often go toward the wrong things. Like we think that money is going to make us happier. We think that job promotion is going to make us happier. We think that that relationship is going to make us happy. When in the end, when they studied people actually getting what they said they wanted, they weren't actually happier after they got what they said they wanted. So that's a really critical thing that we need to look at, and what this activity is going to help you really clarify on, because there are so many people who waste so much time, and it breaks my heart because they spend so much time chasing after money or chasing after the relationship or chasing after whatever it might be, and they're putting off their happiness into the future. And then once they get there, they feel disappointed and unfulfilled because what they were going after wasn't actually the thing that was gonna make them happy in the first place. Okay, so I'm gonna help you combine all of what we talked about, training the reticular activation system, helping the confirmation bias work for you, helping make sure that your compass is pointed in the right direction towards something that's gonna actually get you to what you want in this activity that I'm about to set up for you. So go ahead and grab a piece of paper and something to write with, or you can switch over to the notes app in your phone, or you can pause this and wait for later. But I'd recommend doing it now if you can while momentum is fresh. So step one is going to be writing down what you want, what you are manifesting, what you're bringing in. Is it the job? Is it the money? Is it the relationship? Is it self-love? Whatever it might be, go ahead and write that down. And let's just do one at a time for now. Step two is going to be where we point that compass in the right direction. So based on what you wrote in step one, I want you to close your eyes and ask your body, ask your nervous system, ask your emotions, what is it that I am trying to feel when I get that thing? When I get that job, what is it that I want to feel? Is it pride? Is it fulfillment? What is it? When I get that relationship, what is it that I want to feel? Is it that I'm loved? Is it that I'm accepted? Is it that I'm worthy? What is it? And once you get that answer, go ahead and write that down. That is going to be the compass and the anchor that we are actually going for. This makes sure that we are pointed in the right direction, because you can make $1 million and feel really unfulfilled once you get there. You can get into a relationship and feel unwanted in it. You can get the job and feel like it's not the right fit for you, and you quit the next day. So what is it that you want to feel when you get that thing that you wrote in the first step? Now, the third step is part of what is training your reticular activation system and your confirmation bias, because we are now going to find evidence of how that feeling already exists in our life. This makes it so that we're not having to start from scratch and continuing to move the goalpost and put out the happiness away from us, or the fulfillment or the worthiness or whatever the feeling is that we're trying to get toward. We're helping it be felt right now. And this can be the most small things. Like, say that I'm really wanting to feel fulfilled whenever I get that job or whenever I get that relationship. And say that I just ate a sandwich and I felt really fulfilled with how it tasted. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to let that be felt in my body and in my nervous system. I know what it feels like to be fulfilled, and I have it right now. So write down every single way, no matter how small, that feeling already exists in your life. Now that steps 1 through 3 are completed, we're gonna create a 2 to 5 minute story that's written in the first person that helps to create the repetitions that we need to really solidify the beliefs that the confirmation bias can now find evidence for. This is going to also help the reticular activation system know what it is scanning the environment for. And it's also just going to be helping you feel the sensations and the emotions in your body as you listen to it. Now I'm going to give you a prompt that you can follow, but you can also put it into ChatGPT. I know that it's a controversial topic, but if you are not a writer and this would be really helpful for you, I would rather it get done. So here is the prompt that I can give you, whether you're a human that wants to write it or you want to give it to ChatGPT. I'm just going to read off my screen here. And I'm also going to put this in the show notes as well so that you can copy and paste it into ChatGPT. What I'm about to read out is the ChatGPT prompt, but also recognize that you can just follow that for your own human brain if you'd like. So this is the prompt. Will you make me a 2 to 5 minute story that focuses on helping me feel the sensations in my body of the things that I'm wanting to feel when my manifestation is here? And in story form, things that I can be looking for on my day to day to keep bringing in evidence that will help me get my manifestation faster. Please write this in the first person. And then I've copied underneath that steps 1, 2, and 3 that we already had. So just as an example, I want $1 million for step 1. For step 2, I said, I want to feel safety and abundance when I get those $1 million. And then for step 3, I said, I feel safety with my community. I feel safety in my relationships. I feel abundance in the amount of veggies we've been harvesting. I feel abundance in the amount of people coming in that want and can afford my services. I feel abundance in the options that I have around the place that I want to live. So those are the 3 options that I put into ChatGPT, and then it spits out a story that you can use. And then step 5, which is the last step, we are going to read that 2 to 5 minute story into one of my favorite apps. This is not sponsored yet. They maybe should sponsor me because I talk about it all the time and I love it, but I use the app called Parrot. I'm actually going to just put it right here so that you can see what that logo looks like. You can just put it on your phone or your computer, and you're going to read that 2 to 5 minute story into the Parrot app. And I listen to that every morning when I wake up and when I go to bed. This whole process is intentional and helpful for several reasons. One of the reasons being that when you are going to bed and when you are waking up, your consciousness is moving through particular brainwave states that are closer to your subconscious and helps you imprint some of these beliefs into your subconscious more than when you're in your waking everyday conscious state. So this is the brainwave state of theta. So whenever you're going to bed and whenever you're waking up, that's much more like a backdoor into your subconscious. So listening to this in those time periods can be really helpful. Whenever I have the Parrot app on, I literally just have a 10 or 30-minute timer, depending on how much time I have before I go to sleep or before I need to get up and do whatever I'm doing. So that's why I do it in the morning and at night. Although, if you want to have this story be reinforced when you're in alpha or a more awakened brain state, then that's completely fine. It essentially just reinforces what you were imprinting in your subconscious mind. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason is that you're getting lots and lots and lots of repetitions because this story is just looping again and again. The more repetitions, as we've talked about, the more that your brain and your reticular activation system recognizes this as something important to focus on throughout the day. So that's another huge thing. But the third thing that's particularly helpful about this activity and about using the Parrot app in this scenario is that it's coming from your own voice. This can be particularly helpful because hearing your own voice activates brain regions that are tied to self-processing, like the medial prefrontal cortex, which is just a really fancy way to say that your brain is more likely to believe it and accept it because it feels like, oh, this is coming from me versus someone external to me. Okay, so give that a shot and let me know how it goes. If you have any questions at all, or if you want me to expand on any of the topics that I talked about, or if you're super jazzed on me doing another manifestation and neuroscience episode, leave that below in the comments. If you want to work with me and my team at helping you get down to the autonomic nervous system and helping you rewire some of the patterning that's there so that you can bring in a lot of what you're visioning and what you're manifesting easier, so that you can develop more safety in your nervous system, so that you can bring your holistic health into balance, go ahead and check out the show notes. I've got a free seminar down there to get you started. And if you enjoyed this at all, or if this was helpful for you at all, please leave a 5-star review on Spotify. Please subscribe, like, do all the things, share it with your friends. All of that's helpful. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next episode. And thanks for tuning in to After the Aha.